Tim Burton has suffered 2 flops in a row with Dark Shadows and Frankenweenie.
Yeah.
Frankenweenie's not doing well.
No, Frankenweenie is a disaster, unfortunately. And it's I actually would say this, it's the best film he's possibly made since Ed Wood.
But do you think that's because it's in black and white?
No, I think it's because it's autobiographical.
No. No. I just don't think. Oh God, here's the thing with when Tim Burton, makes something good, like something like Sweeney Todd or this, it doesn't catch on. Unfortunately, look what's caught on: Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Alice in Wonderland. And Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is actually very good until they get to the Chocolate Factory. Once you get to the Chocolate Factory, that movie falls apart. That is so true about that movie.
And I should have just named the movie Charlie. That would have been great.
I mean, no.
When I was watching that movie, Jerry, when I was watching that movie, for the first 40 minutes, I was like, "This is fucking great." And then when it gets to the Oompa Loompas and they start singing, the movie dies.
Oh, they kill the movie. They keep going on and on and on. You're just like, shut up.
It's so true.
But here's
about
the thing.
That.
I said I thought Dark Shadows would be good. Whoever, and I've said this a million times, whoever put that trailer together deserves an Oscar. Because that trailer for Dark Shadows, I mean, talk about selling the movie. Movie has none of the energy that trailer has for 2 minutes. Nothing quite like that. But Frankenweenie, on the other hand, is actually very good. Classic Tim Burton. It's obviously autobiographical. And it's just really heartfelt, but it's also incredibly well done. I mean, it's really well done. And he loves the old horror, the Universal horror movies, and also like Godzilla movies and that sort of thing. And it's all in there, and it all works. It comes together.
I'm excited to see Frankenweenie because to me, just looking at the trailer, it just seems to recall another early Tim Burton film, the film that was actually his calling card into Hollywood, which was his Disney effort for with a little 10-minute movie called Vincent.
That's right.
And it seems like it's a callback to Vincent. Am I right?
Yeah, no, you are right.
He made Frankenweenie as a short film, too.
He made Frankenweenie as a short, but there's a character in this, the science teacher, who looks a lot like Vincent Price and is voiced by Martin Landau, another actor that he likes a lot. But if Vincent Price was alive, I assure you Vincent Price would have played would have voiced the science teacher.
I felt so remiss because I've always wanted to talk to Martin Landau, and I didn't realize he was in the movie.
I didn't realize until the credits.
I would have sent him a request because he did press for it. I didn't realize that, It was too late.
Yeah, but
my favorite moment of Frankenweenie is when the boy's looking out the window and it looks like it's raining outside. It's just like the father with the garden hose.
Yeah.
I think about
like
that
a
scene,
wonderful joke.
and then I think about the scene that they spotlight in the documentary Visions of Light, the documentary about cinematography.
Right.
And I think about Robert Blake in Cold Blood, looking out the window, and the rain against the window looks like tears rolling down his cheeks. The reflection of it.
Conrad Hall.
Yeah. So here's the question that people are asking: 2 flops in a row. What happened to Tim Burton? What, is he in danger? Is he endangering his career? Personally, I'll give you my take on it, and then you guys tell me yours. I think it's a bunch of hooey. This guy with Alice in Wonderland, even though none of us liked it,
right?
It is one of the highest-grossing movies of all time. He propelled the very notion of a modern blockbuster with Batman. I mean, Batman was an event movie. I mean, obviously Spielberg, kind of ushered in Spielberg and Lucas the notion of blockbuster. But Batman was like an event movie, big time. I think he's fairly safe.
I think,
Are you kidding? He's ridiculously fake.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be big and insane.
All he needs to do is center in on another. Look, I mean, Burton, for the most part, for the last 20 years, has been doing movies, and I'm talking about since Batman, has been doing movies that are really based on other properties.
Mm-hmm.
And so all he really needs to do is find the next property that's going to work, and it's going to work because, and it'll work because he's got a machine going. He's got a machine going where he has the cinematographer, he has the score, he has the art directors, he's got all those things working, the costume designers. They're all working together. I mean, he works with the same people every single time. So it's just a matter of something else working in the future, and him finding something else. Now, if you're asking, is he ever going to find a movie that is great as something like Ed Wood or Pee-wee's Big Adventure, then that's another question
entirely. That's
entirely.
a totally different story. I mean,
that's a different question.
I mean,
and that's a much more difficult thing to answer.
Do you know anyone that likes Alice in Wonderland?
Nobody. Zero people. Zero.
And yet, the movie was like a massive international success.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know about that.
I don't know a damn person.
It just happened at the right place at the right time. It came out in spring. There wasn't anything else out there. It came out in 3D. It came out right after Avatar, which might have been its biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
It came out directly after Avatar, and everybody thought, well, Avatar has changed movies, and we loved Avatar, and it was in 3D, so we're going to go see this next thing that's in 3D. But we don't hear a lot about people coming out of Alice in Wonderland thinking that it was like Avatar, which was also a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's this movie next year that's coming out the same, like in March, Oz the Great and Powerful or whatever.
Yeah.
And even though it's based on the Wizard of Oz or those books, it just looks like a spin-off of Alice in Wonderland, quite frankly. Even though it's a Sam Raimi film and everything, it just looks like, if I didn't know any better, even because it says from the producer of Alice in Wonderland and the director of the Spider-Man trilogy, I'm like, oh my God.
Well, it probably got greenlit because of the success of Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that. But I'm looking at Tim Burton's page on IMDb, and I don't see it listed. But at one time, because Alice in Wonderland did so well, he was attached to a new version of Sleeping Beauty, which would be, perfect in that sense for him to make, another $1 billion worldwide. So.
Well, I don't see him making another $1 billion. But that doesn't mean that
he
he's not going to be...
produced Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter? Oh, my God. Abraham Lincoln Vampire and Dark Shadows in the same year? Jesus.
I mean, Alice in Wonderland has been an incredibly influential movie. Not just because I think mainly because, well, of course it made a lot of money. Of course, that's
the main reason.
But it also opened up the idea that you could make something out of ancient, and I'm talking about in these days, it's ancient history. So, for instance, this year there's been 2 Snow White movies. There's been a television show called Once Upon a Time, and there's also been another show called Grimm.
Mm-hmm.
There's been there's a Hansel and Gretel movie that's coming out which portrays Hansel and Gretel as being witch hunters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the kind of thing that they were like, oh, well, this sort of ancient sort of storytelling, ancient in our purview.
Are you basically saying that we're going to get the Hans Christian Andersen serial killer movie?
Yeah, we're gonna get Thumbelina as a killer. Thumbelina is going to come out and going to kill like 30 people in the movie.
By the way, who composed the music for the movie Thumbelina? You guys know? Yeah,
No.
Barry Manilow. He did. Yeah, he composed the music. Don Bluth loves Barry Manilow. He composed both of Don Bluth's last movies.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so I don't know anyone that likes Alice in Wonderland, but it grossed a lot of money. There's lots of theories that you can attach to it. A lot of what you just said, Dean. The fact that Disney's above the title, but then again, that didn't help John Carter. But Tim Burton is a very specific talent, And I think that people went to Alice in Wonderland for Alice in Wonderland.
Not for
and
Tim Burton.
They probably didn't walk out singing its praises because of Tim Burton.
Mm-hmm.
They probably so I think that he's not typically, when he's firing on all cylinders, he's a very selective taste, and I don't think that Joe Schmo in Pistoria, Illinois, is necessarily Tim Burton's audience.
They're not sharing his taste, I don't think. And I think when he comes from a place that's truly from his heart, as I know that Ed Wood and Pee-wee and I suspect,
and Edward Scissorhands too. Edward Scissorhands, and even Beetlejuice, and even I'll go so far as to say Big Fish. Definitely.
I suspect also Frankenweenie. When it comes to that thing that comes directly to his heart, and I'm sure this was an incredible disappointment to him. I believe that people feel like he's a weirdo.
Right.
When they look at those movies, they're like.
Most of the movies that you just mentioned, the ones that come from his heart, deal with the outsider that feels like a weirdo. That's what he's. That's why they're personal to him. Yeah.
That's what he does, and he's only approached big time, huge ass grosses when he deals with things that have already connected with the public in one way or another.
Right.
And he just hit the zeitgeist. He made Batman at the perfect time. He made because I return to Batman now, and my nostalgia for the reaction everyone had to it when it came out, my nostalgia for that period of time kind of outshines the actual quality of the movie.
Exactly.
I think that the movie is beyond all visionary, and it's a great kick to see Jack Nicholson, but it's terribly uneven.
He drags in parts.
Yeah,
it does. It's like overblown. It's overblown. It was. Look, I went to go see the movie, and I was taken away mainly by the hype, and I believe that movie has really set the bar for hype. It really,
you're right about that.
It did the hype so great that it made everybody who went to go see it for weeks after it was released think that it was incredible. When in actuality, when they went back and took a look at it, even a week later, they said, what the hell was I thinking?
Well, you know who liked that movie? Jack Nicholson. He made $50 million from it.
Oh, he cut a good deal for that movie.
He got the greatest deal out of that movie.
And he's very happy with his performance, as he should be. He's always said, I consider that a piece of pop art, like my performance in that movie.
He's fun in the movie and everything like that. But the problem with the movie is not in his performance; it's in the direction of the movie. It's specifically in the cutting of the film. I think it's the editing of that film that makes it wrong.
Yeah, it's sloppily cut, and it's completely lopsided in terms of it should be called The Joker.
You're right. I was going to
movie.
say that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
In terms of screen
Batman becomes a supporting character in that film.
Yeah.
I'm a supporting character in my own movie. God damn it.